Astronomer Patrick Moore, who was part of the team that originally mapped the moon back in the 1960s, thinks that all this talk of aliens and moon bases may be a little far-fetched.
One thing you've got to remember, when you hear conspiracy theory, that is the hallmark of the crackpot. I've been looking at the moon all my life, through some of the world's best telescopes, with my moon mapping days, and since, of course, and now with the space pictures. We know every facet of the moon, mapped of the entire surface. Craters, mountains, ridges, valleys, and nothing we can't explain.
Okay, Houston, the moon is essentially gray. No color. Looks like plaster of Paris. Or sort of a grayish beach.
Still, there are question marks. Ken Johnston worked as head of NASA's Data and Photo Control Department. It was his responsibility to check films that came back from the moon. While working in the lab, he came across technicians who, he says, were deliberately altering lunar photographs.
There were a group of 3 people sitting around a light table about the size of a card table, and there were 2 men and one lady. When I noticed that they had film and negatives out on the light table, and they had very fine little paintbrushes, and they were painting blacking out parts of the negatives. And I asked them, I said, well, what are you folks doing? And one of the gentlemen quipped very quickly, he says, we're professional strippers. The lady kind of laughed, and she said, well, actually, what we are doing is we are stripping by painting along the surface of the horizon to paint out any stars so it won't be confusing.
Although this form of retouching is commonplace in photo labs, Ken Johnston believes the NASA technicians were removing any evidence of alien bases. On another occasion, the same form of retouching was carried out on a roll of film.
During the showing of that particular reel, we came up on the crater. You could see a cluster of about 5 lights. Today I'd probably refer to them as domes, 5 dome clusters of lights.
Such an amazing discovery stuck in his mind, but not as much as what happened the next day when he showed the film to other scientists.
The film goes right past the crater. There's no evidence of any lights or any steam, nothing at all.
So it seems, someone was trying to hide the truth about what was on the moon.
I've heard it said that NASA have kept back images of artifacts. Well, I've never heard that rubbish in my life. Why should they do that to start with? Certainly you couldn't do it because our pictures are far too detailed. And as I say, there are some people who will try and make something out of nothing. And that's what these people do, I fear. But they say it's quite harmless.